Hello, my name is Austin Tamargo, and today I'm gonna talk about how the United States breeds sociopathy, and the overarching subject is how the superstructures, how the superstructure relates to the individual psyche of the individual members of society. So to begin, there's a concept called the superstructure, which was talked about by Marx, Engels, many other people after and before them. This describes like our our whole socio-economic structure. I usually say our socio-economic system because the point is our economics and our social life is intertwined. How we operate socially is relate affects our economic transactions, and how our economic transactions and our economic life is influences how our social life is. What I wrote about this in my book, which I will have in the description, where you can buy it or you can comment. Also, there's a link called 21st Socialism in the 21st Century. A lot of sources up there about the progress socialism has made, and also the United States Communist Party website. But anyways, in my book at one point, right, I talk about how in the United States, for people of other countries, I don't know how it is there too much. I know from what I see and read, but in the United States, we are taught this fact growing up. Well, even if we're not taught growing up, it's like a statistic that exists that a lot of people know about. And it's the statistic that, people who are interested in psychology know about, mainly, where a higher percentage, a bit, uh, a noticeable percentage, higher than the average whole of society of CEOs and capitalists basically, and entrepreneurs. These people are more likely to be sociopaths and psychopaths. So without going too far into an explanation about sociopathy and psychopathy, basically it's this mental illness or this mental state. It's where the mind becomes less attached, less emotional. The mind only thinks for itself, and it begins to lack compassion. A lot of sociopaths or psychopaths, they they see people in the world as pawns in their game. They see everyone as a piece of a puzzle. They don't see people, as real people with humans. I mean, humans with emotions and with stories and with family. They push all that away, and everyone just becomes an object in their world. So, whenever this fact is presented in our current culture, it's presented that, oh well, of course, these people are attracted to that thing, and it's this it's sort of implied whenever I hear this taught, whenever I've heard it taught many times before. It's sort of implied that these people exist no matter what, and that this of course this career structure, which already exists separate on its own, attracts them. So it's looking the way that a lot of current psychologists in our culture today look at it is as if these two things are separate from each other, and that's why they attract, because they're similar. But in reality, when we look at the Marxist view of dialectics, we look at historical materialism, and we are aware of the fact that our relation to society, our relationship to material production, and our role in society and our role to the rest of society's members, when we're aware that that influences our psyche inherently and influences how we view the world, then it is very obvious to see that this this superstructure, this socioeconomic structure of capitalism, and to the extent it is today, even greater imperialism and globalization, this superstructure has an effect on our consciousness. And these sociopaths and psychopaths that are becoming more common in our society are a symptom of our socioeconomic system, of capitalism's complete domination over our culture, over our government, over all aspects of our society. So, as I've said in previous videos, to solve this, we have to change the whole system. We can't revise this system. When we see society as a collective organism, just like you have cells in your body, these cells work together. Like your organs are literally a bunch of cells, individual life that works together to create this complex system, this structure within inside you that all works efficiently. So this is how Marxists and a lot of sociologists in general, before and even after Marx, view society. Society is an organ. How our the whole structure is set up will in fact influence the individual members within it. There's another point I wanted to bring up here, and give me 1 second to try to let it come back to me. 1 second. Thank you for your patience. One part I talked about in my book is the culture. Um, in our culture in the United States, I'm not sure if too many people from other countries are aware. I think a lot of people are very aware, but it's different when you experience this culture firsthand. The United States was created by these NATO powers, these European powers, uh, immigrating to this land and conquering it and colonizing it and taking their socioeconomic system and their superstructure and adapting it to this land and this society, and almost completely wiping out the native people, the native superstructures that were here, and taking over completely. So the United States is in a very unique predicament. The United States is very, very, very unique in the fact that this nation was built on capitalism while capitalism was evolving and progressing in its initial stages, and it has been the catalyst and the country where capitalism has solidified and gotten to its fullest extent, the extent of globalization. The United States trying to dominate the rest of the world and enforce this super structure, this socioeconomic system of capitalism on every other country. We know this started with Britain, France, and these imperialist nations in Europe. The capitalists of these nations came to this land, the United States, America, and they used this government that these rich landowners created only about 300 years ago. These rich white landowners created a government that catered to the bourgeoisie interest, the capitalist class interest. And we have been indoctrinated for many decades, even centuries, that this is the epitome of freedom and justice. And it's to the extent now where it has gotten so deep in indoctrination, where people today in the United States, they believe that capitalism is civil liberty. They believe that without capitalism, we cannot have civil liberty. So there's this indoctrination that the economic the system that allows certain people to subjugate others economically and takes away economic freedom to receive the full value of your labor. They're saying this system, only with this system can civil liberty exist, and this is a complete fabrication. We can have civil liberty and we can have socialism, and that is what socialism is about. But as long as we have this socio-economic structure, this structure that places a hierarchy of people and places some higher than others just because of their birthright, usually, a lot of people are born rich, that inheritance, and then sometimes it's luck, they get that ability. And like the quote goes, when the education is not liberating, the dream of the oppressor is to be is the dream of the oppressed is to be the oppressor. So as I described to my friend a few months ago, we were talking about this culture we have in the United States. It's systematically set up to breed elitists. Elitists are people who think they're better than everybody else. It's a big problem in our culture. The United States, even the ones that are somewhat open-minded, so many people here, they think that the United States is the epitome of freedom and democracy. They think that every other country, or really most other countries, do not have civil liberty. This is a deep-seated and deep-rooted indoctrination that we have to combat with ideological struggle. We have to strive against all incorrect ideas, as Mao says, and as Marx and Lenin said before him. So the first step is being aware of this indoctrination and being aware of how this indoctrination has taken place, why it is here, and coming to all full understanding of the psyche and the sociological conditioning of our country. Because it, it is something that we must recognize in sociology. These borders are imaginary. These structures, these state structures we have created as humans are imaginary, but they have a deep effect on our psyche because we have created them, and they have had power and enforced ideals on our lives, and they affect every single part of our lives, whether we're conscious of it or not. And so with this, while the proletariat has this in mind, the bourgeoisie, the working class, is coming to understand this. The bourgeoisie, the capitalist class, has understood this for hundreds of years and has understood it, has perfected it. Maybe not perfected, but has gradually gotten better at understanding the sociological and psychological science of human minds. See, when I was just talking about this, a good point just came back to me, right? So right now in written history, right, we have a couple thousand years that we can look at, and we have somewhat of a recorded history. Not all of it's 100% accurate. We know that, and we have to look at history from an objective outlook and look at all the sides and be aware that we could be wrong on some things. But we have a couple thousand years of history that we can look at and see how humans have reacted in certain situations. We know that in the process of evolution, in the evolution of the brain, the actual neuroscience, how the brain as a structure itself works, the organ itself, it has not evolved very much in the past couple thousand years. In the past couple million years, yes, it has evolved. We've come a long way as humans. We're not going around. The whole Earth is not inhabited by dinosaurs or somewhere else where we have to run for our lives and hide in caves and maybe get down a mammoth to feed the tribe or whatever. We have progressed, but in the past couple thousand years, even though we have progressed materially, we have progressed in our psyche, and we've progressed sociologically. The main thing to remember is our basic structure of our brain and how our brain operates is still nearly almost 100% identical to all these humans in the past thousands of years. So our structure of the brain has been basically the same. So when we look at history, we can see patterns of human history, and how humans have reacted on a individual level, of course, but even higher on a sociological level, on a whole level as society. And what we have seen is when individuals are given the opportunity or given a structure that allows them to subjugate others and oppress others, they will use that power. Because this, to explain this simply, I'll explain it. When I was very young, someone, an adult, told me when I was a child. They told me that no, and this is in relation to capital and gaining money and greed, but it's presented in another factor, because gaining money and greed and capitalism is a psychological addiction, similar to what I'm about to say now. Is similar to drug addiction. Someone told me when I was a child, nobody wakes up and just wants to be a drug addict one day or a crackhead. You know, they have the opportunity to try it once, and if they fall to the pressure and they try it, they have that experience. They may feel somewhat about it. They may have a great time. They may not have a great time, whatever. But eventually, they're gonna attempt it to say, "Oh, maybe I'll just try it one more time." You know, they may try it one more time. Then they say, "Okay, I've already done it twice, so I might as well do it again." And they may tell themselves, "Okay, I'm just gonna do it one more time." But eventually, once you do something one time, it becomes easier for your brain to excuse it and to do it again. And that's how people become drug addicts that can't live without their drugs. And that's also how corrupt rich capitalists become when when they exploit the value of somebody else's. I mean, we see this in our culture all the time. Some people say they're addicted to making money. They're addicted to the hustle. You know, when they exploit the value of somebody else's labor and they make some good money, it triggers a reward system in their brain. And releases some endorphins. They feel good because they just increase uh, situ- their position in the world. So it comes to a point where it's second nature to them. They don't think about the implications of their actions anymore. Their minds get totally corrupted and possessed by greed. And to the richest capitalists on the planet, and even small petty bourgeoisie, small petty capitalists, they're to a point where their brain is psychologically geared that way. Because our brain